family, welcome back to my channel. This is New York style cheesecake loaded with strawberry fillings. This is your sign to make your own cheesecake. I started here with a pack and a half of graham crackers, and I just throw it in my food processor and blended it up to my taste, my perfection, however you want it. You can leave it a little bit crunchy or just smooth. And I went ahead and blended till it was smooth, but not totally smooth, to my perfection. You can do it however you want it, but then after blending it, I added, you can add brown sugar or regular sugar, and I added 5 teaspoons of regular sugar into my graham crackers so it can give it some sort of taste. Here's it. I ended up pouring it in there to just blend it with it. As I said before, you can use brown sugar as well if you prefer. And I went ahead and blended up a little bit to make it all even and nice and crispy. I promise you, if you're eating this cheesecake, you're gonna be tasting every bit of anything you put in. And I went ahead and poured my graham crackers in a container and added 6 ounces of melted butter into it, and I mixed it up very nice and well. Make sure you mix it up very perfect so it is nice and incorporated together, just like how I'm doing it. Make sure you mix it up. You can use your hand, but spatula works so beautiful. And I went ahead and mix the butter all around to make my crust nice and moist, and I'll show you how to know that your crust is well blended and it has enough butter in there. You want to, when you grab your crust from the bowl, it should form into a dough or something, so you know that the crust is nice and perfect, just like this. When you grab your crust in the bowl, it should be able to form together just as beautiful. And if you don't want to use a lot of butter, that's fine too. Just like this, you want your crust to look this moist and nice, just like this. I hope you're able to make it perfect like this, because this cheesecake was a hit at Christmas party. And I grabbed my baking pan and I dumped half of the cheesecake into the pan. I'm making 2 cheesecake, so this is half of my crust. I dumped it in there and I use a bowl with a round the bottom to move it around just like this. And if you want, you can put your crust onto the side of the pan, but I was just going with the crust on the bottom of my cheesecake and not on the side. So I went ahead and flattened it up just like this. I'm making this video a little bit longer, so I'll show you how I do it. And I went ahead and used spatula to press the edges down so it's nice and secure, so if I put the butter, it does not move anywhere. And once it's done, I went ahead and did the same to the other one, and straight in the refrigerator it goes for 30 minutes. By 30 minutes it will be done, and your butter will be ready for you to pour it in there. It will be nice and set. So once it's done like this, you go ahead and just throw it inside your refrigerator. I was making 2 pans, so that's why it seems so long. I'm making 2 pans, so my mixture is a 2 pan, or if you want a larger, nice size cheesecake. So I went ahead and added room temperature cream cheese. I added 16 ounces, that means 1 pound of cheesecake cream cheese, excuse me, in my mixing bowl, and I mixed it up for like 30 seconds. That's how long you have to mix it up, 30 seconds. And I went ahead and added 2 cups of sugar in my cream cheese and gave it a mix for about a minute. The reason why you have to check how long you mixing your cheesecake butter is, you don't want it to over mix or to over fluff, then you're gonna ruin something. So once you put the sugar, you have to give it at least a minute to fluff it up and make sure all the sugar is nice and melted. This is the trick to getting creamier and smoother cheesecake. And all the sides, you have to make sure you use spatula to push it down so all the sides are nice and mixed too. I went ahead and used my spatula to move around the, and make sure you can use your cookie mixture to do it, but hand mixture works so beautiful too. I went ahead and moved all the sides inside the butter so I can give it an extra whip again, because the sugar was on the edges and you want everything to be mixed perfectly and accordingly so it is nice and smoother instead of biting any chunks in your cheesecake. I've been more in love with cheesecake these days, and everybody that tasted the cheesecake had to come tell me personally that this is the best cheesecake they ever had. So it made me feel so special to wanted to share with you guys how I made this cheesecake. So I go ahead and added 5 eggs, but you want to add it slowly at a time and mix it. And don't overmix. That does not mean you should not mix. You mix your egg a little bit at a time and make sure you give it at least 30 seconds on a medium speed to make sure the eggs are nice and mixed, and add it a little bit at a time. And do the same thing and make sure all your eggs are mixed so you do not have to have egg lump or egg cooked in your cheesecake. This is a beautiful trick to help you avoid uncooked eggs in your butter after your cheesecake is done. And added 3 tablespoons of sour cream in here, and I added in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract to add. If you want, you can use the one with the lemon flavor. And I mixed them together very nice and smooth. This butter was looking so delicious. I could have stopped it here, but I needed to add it all. I added heavy cream, a half a cup of heavy cream, and I mixed it up. And I'm gonna go ahead and add my condensed milk. I added 14 ounces of condensed milk, and you have to add it slowly and mix it up at the same time so it's nice and mixed. And the last part would be you mixing up very beautiful and make sure everything is nice and mixed and incorporated. And after you're done, you need 3 tablespoons of flour, and you just have to sprinkle it on top of your butter a little bit at a time. This is gonna help stiffen up your cheesecake to perfection too. You just add it a little bit at a time and you keep mixing up so you do not have lumps in there. We do not want lumps in our cheesecake, so we're gonna go ahead and do it like this. And your 3 teaspoons of flour, you can use all-purpose flour, is nice and done. Make sure it's mixed and it's nicely mixed, beautiful, just like this. This was in fact the best New York cheesecake I've ever made. I've made Italian cheesecake and stuff, but the New York cheesecake was a hit. And it was nice and done. And look how nice buttery. When you scoop your butter, it should be falling off the spatula like this. Beautiful. And my crust was done, so I went ahead and poured half of the butter onto my crust to the top. And I left a little bit of room so when it rises, it does not rise and overflow on the pan. So I went ahead and put half, and once you put it, you go ahead and tap the bottom of the stuff so you get rid of all the air bubbles in there. You saw that? All the air bubbles out of it. And I went ahead and fill it up with some fresh strawberry jam that I made. I went ahead and fill up the middle with strawberry jam, and I used my skewer to move it around to give it a look, but the look didn't stay, but I went ahead and covered it up. I just wanted to have some fruit in the middle. So this is how it all went down. Look how beautiful this cheesecake look. And once it was done, I had a pan. I had an aluminum pan, and it fitted in so beautiful. So I went ahead and added hot water in my pan, and we're gonna be baking this cheesecake for an hour. So this is my second pan, and I went ahead and dumped the rest of the butter on there. Look how beautiful and creamy this cheesecake butter looks. I went ahead and dumped the whole butter on top, and I put the rest of my, and I went ahead and did the same. You saw the bubble blowing up, and there was more. You do not, if not, you're gonna have air pockets in your cheesecake, and we do not want that. And once the air bubbles were all gone, I added my cheesecake butter. I went ahead and used the rest of my strawberry jam on the half of this cheesecake, so the other half can be plain. So beautiful, just like this. Your cheesecake butter and strawberry jam looks so delicious. And I went ahead and mixed them around so it can settle right in the bottom and makes it look so beautiful. I was so impressed with this cheesecake. This is my own recipe, and I'm gonna share it with you guys so you guys can make your own cheesecake. And I use the same method. Have it thin, and I put water in there and put my oven to 350, and we're gonna be baking this for an hour straight. My husband helped me put both cheesecake in there. You wanna place them in so they both can bake at the perfect temperature. Look how nice it looks. I went ahead and stuffed it. My husband stuffed it in there for me and covered it up, and we put our temperature for an hour to bake. And once your cheesecake is baked, make sure you take it out of the pan and put it back in the oven for another half hour for the oven to cool down with your cheesecake. And once it's done like that, this is how your cheesecake look. We let it sit for another 30 minutes to cool down before we flip it. And look at the crust. Look at the crust. And I hope you saw the technique of flipping the cheesecake. You use the same size plate you have with the base that you're gonna put it on there. Oh my god, look how nice this cheesecake look. Everybody was in love, and he did the same thing with the second tray. It didn't want to come out, so you just want to be tapping on the bottom like this until it falls off. And nice and beautiful this cheesecake look. I was so in love with this cheesecake, and I'm gonna go ahead and measure so the base can be in the middle. Beautiful. My husband is on the phone, that's why it's so noisy and stuff, but look how beautiful this two cheesecake looks. I am so in love, and my husband is showing me how I can put the other filling on top for it to be not too much. And that's it for our cheesecake. Now it's real nice and cool, and you can wrap it and put it in the fridge. And this is Christmas Day, and I was decorating it to bring it to Christmas. Went ahead and cut thinly sliced fresh strawberries, and I mixed some chunks of strawberries with my jam that I made, and I went ahead and just spread it on top of my cheesecake, and it looks so nice and bright. This is so far the best cheesecake everybody in my family ever had, so I got a ton of compliment and a ton of credit, and they want me to make another cheesecake for New Year, and I'm gonna be making vegan cheesecake too for New Year, so I'm gonna be posting that very soon. Look how bright and nice this cheesecake looks. Oh my god, I'm so in love. And this is the other cheesecake. My husband is gonna cut it up so you guys can see how it looks in the middle. Oh my god, I love voiceover when I'm making videos, but once it's food, it's like I cannot think. I start blabbering and just talking nonsense. But look how soft and nice this cheesecake look at all the jam in the middle. Oh my god, my husband was like, oh my god, this is the best cheesecake. I had a bakery for years, but this is the best cheesecake recipe. How did you come up with that? Said I had to, and this is the next day I was gonna enjoy it too. I made two, one for the house and one for Christmas, and this is Christmas day that I was gonna enjoy it. After Christmas eating cheesecake, I came home to eat another cheesecake. Look how nice and smooth and moist this cheesecake looks. Oh my god, beautiful. And this is the Christmas dessert cheesecake. Everybody loved it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for supporting my videos. I love you guys so much. See this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more future videos. Love you all. Have a very great holidays and a happy new year coming as well. This is gonna be a hit cheesecake if you make it in your house, and I'm gonna be linking some description down, ingredients and measurement in my description box below. See you on my next video.